change and doing the maintenance. So actually we had a solution over there. We are working on this building a life center. Okay, we will work with the third company and they will install this life center and everyone will put their book on that during on the class. So we eliminate this issue because really it's fatality risk over there. So the support is our work.
Okay. Any others you want to mention?
Environmental team.
Environmental?
We have
Transport.
Transporter?
PPE.
PPE?
And knife reduction.
What's the last one?
Knife reduction.
Knife reduction. Oh.
It's
Not just glove safety?
No.
it's a regional initiative.
Really nice.
They
But it's driven by Sava.
yes,
They
our
pilot.
started so
It's training waste reduction, right?
You're referring to trimming? Don't you say?
no all kind of things. For example, it's mixing
We
area.
created mixing in brand and final finish where we are using the most knives. Now we just start in June. We were established. Now they are ongoing a meeting. I don't know where they are now, but the goal is to reduce usage of knives, not just prevent cutting, so new gloves or something.
How long have you had your subcommittee going on knife reduction?
In June.
June?
Okay.
That would be interesting. I'd like to see.
Yeah, I'd like to get some data on that.
That'd be good.
Just do it.
Just do it.
You do it. Yeah. You will see very good.
That's high up the countermeasure ladder, right?
Didn't Murphy have a?
More than just communication.
Did Pat Murphy have a subcommittee on, what did we have, knife elimination? We had,
Not quite elimination, no.
oh, it's just get rid of the wooden handle ones, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Gotta sharpen it.
Which is better, you know, they were trying to go to more of a standard one across the plant, make sure they're in good, safe working condition.
Yeah. But I should get rid of knives? Yeah.
We went through that.
So how do we capture that request? So from Sava, it's obviously a great subcommittee. How do we capture the fact that these guys need to see what's happening?
The region will take care of it.
As I said, how do we capture it?
Hey, Bernardo, can you capture that for me?
That's not fair on Ralph, but I think it's a great learning. So how do we get that from the Sava team and bring it to not just North America, but South America as well? I mean, it's great.
With the Americas.
You guys will either that power steering, will you not? You use power steering?
Yeah, I'll do it.
So if there are some requests that you would like, you know, if you need us to capture that for you, Bernardo's going to capture it for you. You can put it on a sticky note while you're thinking about it, and we can put it up there.
So how do you want to write this?
We want Sava to share their knife elimination subcommittee learnings. All right, I have a question.
Sevens.
By accident investigation, they do that subcommittee.
Yeah, we do have one. All three items.
It's a good one.
Observation subcommittee, behavior-based risk, lifting, bending, twisting.
Okay.
We have a slip, trip, and fall subcommittee.
Okay.
You know, 2013, that was our highest incident rate, and from 2015, 2016, we're at 0.
Wow. Congratulations. Was it because of just water or oil? Or?
Uneven floors, WPO, tripping over. We have a lot of angle there in our business center. Not seeing it tripping.
Okay, good. So Michael brought up a good point, incident investigation. Do you have people from your pillar team or your subcommittees involved in all incident investigations?
Yes, the orb system.
So they're actually a part of going out, understanding what happened, talking with people.
Usually,
Five wise.
whenever there's an accident in Gadsden, it's the area manager,
then the city pillar member will do the investigation.
Good. No? No.
They do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they do a gas detection. But when it comes to actually doing the why analysis.
We struggle.
We all struggle with that.
That's not
Okay.
gas, no, that's not gas, this is a a North American struggle is truly getting to root cause analysis on safety incidents. And I would say, the areas that I've seen progress the most is why analysis since we started 2.5 years ago. So it's got better. Is it there yet? No. But I think that for this leadership team in this room, one of your challenges when you go back is to really push root cause analysis, because that's one of the biggest issues I see. It's always blame the associate.
Associate was not paying attention.
Correct, yeah. Or it's a bit like quality, same thing.
Yep.
Quality always blames the associate rather than
But first we
actually.
blame mix.
Oh, mixing first.
The
then
business center.
associate.
Come on now.
No, we do reliability is our first.
Okay.
First room, too.
Quality or safety is reliability issue.
So to Chris's point, we see a countermeasure report, right? But then you read through the YY or the 5Y and it's retrained operators. Is that really eliminating, is that really root cause? I mean, it's not. So we've got to a point now that, so our safety manager, he has to review all those 5Ys. If they're not to a countermeasure, a true countermeasure level 4, he pushes them back to the business center.
Good.
They return them back.
And then build that into our guidance partner review and response meeting, that if we have open 5Ys, Jeff's asking, leadership team's asking, where are we at on this 5Y?
Good.
Part of our daily management systems put all the open words up, and if they're over 72 hours, why aren't they done? When are they done?
But we're still getting a lot that are,
Yeah.
hey, we retrained as countermeasure 4.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, it's really not a 4.
So the flip side of that is you have a process that you have to meet a timing on investigation, correct? Right. So that forces something. It forces the wrong behavior.
That's right.
Okay? So the fact that you have to get something in place in a certain time sometimes doesn't allow you to truly understand the root cause. So you throw in a suggestion, interim suggestion, but you don't go back to the start point and redo it. So I agree that there needs to be some very stern guidelines on timing.
Yeah.
However, in some cases, it means that we shortcut things.
I ran into this exact same thing on 5Ys around root cause failure.
Yep.
But what I'm trying to coach the team on is, when they hit a trigger, I want it started. But if they can come up with the answer in 24 hours, then why does it exist anyway? I mean, why is it even there? So we've got to understand that you might not be done in 24 hours or 72 hours, but you should be starting, right? You should be at a certain point through the demand process, but it may take longer, and everyone's going to be different. It depends how complex it is.
And that's the discussion we have in our ops meeting, and Philip or Mike Welch will be there and say, hey, you know what, I'm sending this one back, it doesn't meet what we need, so, and it'll take a couple days, but we have one sheet up there by Business Center, and if you have an open order, we talk about it every day.
But
Well, that's
to me,
right.
it's like quality, right? The first step's containment, right? So eliminate that immediate risk, get that handled. Might not be the end solution, but get it contained, right? Start that 5Y process and give it whatever time it deserves, but push yourself, right? Be aggressive with it. And let the team get involved. Because one of the things that I started seeing, a lot of these 5Ys that smelled very, 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 very similar, right? And then I find out that, yeah, you've got the associate involved, maybe you've got some pillar member involved, you got the area manager involved, but whoever it wasn't always the area manager. That guy that normally does it, he's doing it and the others are sitting there watching, right? Instead of being in. Because if it's coming from different directions, if a 5Y is coming from multiple directions, they will not look alike. They will not look alike.
That's what,
Might be more than 5 Ys.
yeah, we had the same issue in that. It's like it was all landed on one or two people to do it, and it was usually the safety manager or the business leader was the person that that did all those things, right? So you come in, be something that happened on the off shift, and it was to the point that all that was ever really entered on the off shift was we had an incident and someone sprained their thumb. You probably know where it happened, but you'd come in and you go, I don't know, and that guy just happened to be not coming back in for 3 days again, right? Was the next time you saw the guy, right? As a business leader, so what do? You sit and you wait for 3 days so you can get the right people together to talk about the issue, to try to figure out what really happened 3 days ago or sometimes more, right? So how effective were we in understanding any of the whys? Probably not a lot. So you got like kind of those stupid kind of actions that, you know what, were someone's best guess, but sometimes lined up to reality, sometimes
The other piece,
didn't.
Brian probably knows it better than I do, he's a better problem solver, but you've gotta really make it clear to the folks that you probably aren't gonna get it right the first time.
Absolutely.
And it's okay. It's okay to be on your 27th revision of a 5Y, it's okay. You know, because most of them think they're doing poorly because with any problem solving tool, 8-3, 5Y, it doesn't matter. When you take it to that mentor, that coach, they're probably going to find some things you could have done a little better. You might have asked one more question, et cetera. I mean, that's what they want, that's why you go to them. But a lot of our team here, if you don't take the time to explain that to them, they feel defeated when they come and they didn't quite get there, right? I think it's important that they know that, hey, that's part of why you're doing this, is to learn how to be a better problem solver every time you do it.
So Andrew, the reason why I threw that bomb in the middle of that's not my role, by the way. That's why I can't always throw bombs around.
And run.
Tremendous. I'm very good at it.
Disappear before you can provide.
And then I run away before I can provide. But the point being is, if you think about everything we've talked about here, is that we've got to get better at doing why analysis, root cause analysis. And you can all learn from each other because we're not perfect. So I would suggest that, Lawton, for example, I've been to Lawton safety meeting where the business center manager has to stand up with his team if they've had an OSHA or recordable and show the why analysis, and they get literally, Phil Anderson's in there, John Cunningham, all the big people that know what they're doing supposedly will ask questions and challenge recourse. That never happened before.
Even here, other businesses, it's been part of your process, challenge and countermeasure. And it's really not acceptable to use behavior piece as your number one countermeasure. As a matter of fact, you try to steer away from it. Unless it's just an
What did you say, Darren? It's not acceptable to use the word?
It's not acceptable to just use the behavior piece as your countermeasure. As a matter of fact, you steer away from it, go after condition, unless it was just a blatant disregard for safety on the behavior, but you still try to go after condition. But it's a very challenging meeting, and it forces you to get better, forces you to get better in the business center before you show up, because it's the entire POC, PSC, other PEC subcommittee, or other PEC pillar members, which really been probably one of the, and it also helps us share ideas. One thing that's came out of is sharp edges. And our cuts have migrated from being cut on the hand by knives, because we use a lot of gloves. Right? We need to go after your knife countermeasure. But our cuts on the rise because of sharp edges. We've seen that across all of these things. So now each one of the business centers are showing their mitigation to sharp edges. How we're doing that through our PEC teams, through our operators. It would never have happened, never, had we not have been going to this forum that you're in right now. And it's definitely giving us results. And so probably one of the most robust meetings we've got planned.
Is that like a weekly meeting?
It's a weekly meeting, and you report out monthly in your business center.
Yeah. Every week it's rotated, like today it's CCBC, so my team is up there reporting on the accidents that we've had since the last time we reported. They report on all their KPIs.
Any level of accident?
First aids, OSHAs, not near
We
misses.
did do near misses.
We used to do near misses, but not anymore.
And we still do premier at near miss. If we have a really robust near miss that impacted a lot of associates in the business center, we still one per week.
And then we show one, we call it a near miss challenge, where we did something to avoid an accident. Okay, the team shows that challenge, and then at the end of the month, or at the beginning of the next month, one team wins the trophy. That trophy's passed around from business center to business center. You know, it's one of the most impactful meetings that we have. Everybody loves going to the Tuesday safety meeting, except for the person in front that's standing on the plastic.
Got the bullseye.
You know, yeah, but it's gotten a lot better. It is very impactful. You learn a lot.
The associates report out?
Yeah.
We do, we have PEC team members, even at my last report out meeting, it was actually at the same time as our business center plan op review. So we switched our agenda around, we went up front and did our plan op PEC review, you know, during that meeting. It was really.
So is it like a plant PEC meeting? Plant PEC?
Yeah, we call it a safety review.
Where all the PEC teams and plant come,
But it's
It's more of an
the-
incident review.
Yes.
But there are action
It's an
items.
incident review and KPIs. We report out on our PEC Y chart, KPIs.
Jeff, I would call it a safety review and response
Yeah.
at a very high level. So it's run by the BLT. Jim Talley, I would say that the safety manager there, he runs it, as in he owns the organization of it. But there are members from all the business centers in there. Every business center manager is in there. Every TTL, maintenance manager, support functions, even HR goes.
Yeah, there's 70 people in the room.
Wow.
And maybe
Yeah.
15 to 20 people standing up front reporting out.
Stop.
So what are some of the biggest frustrations that your subcommittees have?
Money
Money. What do we need money for?
to buy stuff.
To buy stuff, to make machine modifications. That's the only way we can make it safer. Sometimes it takes that. But what I've tried to explain is if we're working on one machine and throwing some money and making it better, you're only affecting a few people who work on that machine versus everybody else in the business center. You may have to do that along with some other things. So what are some other things besides money? Frustration. Time
Takes too long to get
to
something.
get something done. I don't have time to meet. I don't have time to work with my team.
You have to use overtime. You have to use overtime because you have to allocate some time for the subcommittee members, okay, operators. You have to take operators, hourlies, so you have to use overtime.
Making sure you have a good agenda really helps with time. If you're limited on time and let's say you can't use overtime, you have to make sure that when they get in there, they're hitting the high points and getting things done. Eduardo?
It's excuse money.
Manning?
Money is excuse
Money.
because we are responsible for the plan. If we have some problem in the machine, it's my responsibility to ensure the machine is running well. You understand? If I have an accident in the plant, the excuse for the people is we don't have money. That's it.
That's commitment from you.
For example, in our plant, the risk, the unsafe condition in February, only 20% was accomplished. 20% is very low. And I talked to the BCM, but we are doing different. And today we moved from 20% to over 80%. And the money is not problem. It's go the people focus on the resolve the problem. That is my responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
I have a story about this. During the subcommittee activities, one of subcommittee groups, they came with an idea, okay? They worked for the guards optimization and they eliminated the guards, but they put extra motors and to the sidewall cutters, okay? But they eliminated the sidewall cutting guards and eliminated the risk, but the budget was high. Then when I saw they stick to that because they couldn't fix this issue, so we escalated to the plan steering team, okay? Then I asked one of the technicians to present what they did and what they want. Benefit effort analysis they did before, because okay, when they implement this solution, they will also eliminate these kind of risks, and also they will reduce maintenance cost also. Okay, so then we accept it, and okay, on monthly basis we will implement 2 machines per month, and we put on a plan and we will go on like this. So we have to escalate some issues to the steering team. Okay.
Put in the plan, how to solve.
Otherwise, it causes some demotivation of the subcommittee members.
Well, the key to it is, and he said it, and I think you said it, is to create the plan, review the plan to keep everybody on target. If you just put a countermeasure in and it's got to have replication, I'll use countermeasure, and you don't review that, it gets lost in needing to fix the machine, doing the PM, if it takes engineering. And so you really have to put it on the plan and review the plan in that PC.
With safety, we want to change it up here, your mindset. You got to make changes to machines and make the plant safer and add in guarding where it's necessary. But it doesn't matter how much guarding you have, how many gloves you pass out. If people want to get hurt and they're not thinking about safety when they're doing their job, it's going to happen regardless, whether there's a guard or not. So we've got to change the mindset.
There's not enough bubble wrap in the world.
It's not. You can have a safety lane down the side that's for pedestrians. You still need to have your head on the swivel paying attention when you're walking through the plant.
But critical issues here, sometimes the group, they think the best thing is to replace the old system with the new system, okay? They want it, but we have to force them first, what can we do for the self-help?
Yes.
Okay? So otherwise, they want to put new system and it costs money, okay? So you have to figure out where you have to do benefit analysis.
So as a coach and as a sponsor, then that's your job to ask those questions and make them think a little deeper about those solutions.
What did you do before?
What can we do different?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, are there any questions on subcommittees? We know how they're formed, we know what they're there for, we know why they're frustrated.
One comment we started doing, and Andrew kind of helped push towards this, was we would get asked the question, did you invite your maintenance manager? Right? They would come up with these ideas, right, and these concepts, and they would cost thousands and thousands of dollars per machine, but we would involve Jim Brown, our maintenance manager, and he would help come to common ground solution, same goal, but it would cost $400 a machine. And then he could give them a Gantt chart on replication, and it would cover all the needs. So that's one tool we started using a lot more, was really involving the RE team, the maintenance manager, to help us find the way that we could afford to accomplish the goal. That's one thing that helped us a lot.
The big one we got, you guys talked about the component gap. And you guys, any of you have component gaps on first aid or something, so first aid machines, cargo machines, component gap? I know what speaking is. You know what I'm talking about? No, you know what I'm talking about. Component gap, first aid machine comes down.
Yeah, we had them in the
components
kitchen.
on it, feed them up.
We got them on our EMT machines.
Yeah. They're no longer manual.
Automatic.
Go up and down by themselves. And they're triggered by the cycle, right? By themselves. Operator loves it. No, it's a component gap. So to go out to a first aid machine.
We can go out there and walk.
Okay.
They use that to lift it.
Yeah, so
You know what I'm talking about.
100,000 times a year, a builder, for our first aid builders, 100,000 times a year they were doing this.
Oh.
Repetitive. Now it's automated. Justin, tell them how we got there. Why did we start working on that? So number one injury. So we started looking at shoulders.
That
Injuries
came from
led
our,
us there.
That came from our sandbox.
Yes.
What he's getting at is, first kick can was $1 billion times a bazillion machines.
With $1 billion, we can make it.
Well, maybe I'd win the lottery, but it came down to a very doable cost, and in my opinion, a pretty good time.
that they've beaten by how many months?
Like, maybe, 2.5 months.
No, well, you know how maintenance is, 4 hours,
All right. So we've prioritized, we have identified the subcommittees that we need to address our issues. Then we put them in place. Again, there they are, that structure. So hopefully they're addressing our top issues, potential incidents, things that have given us incidents in the past. And then these are just some examples of things that they may be responsible for.
Could I ask a question?
You got 5 minutes.
About the subcommittees, the PDC subcommittee. And I think most every plant's got an ERT or a fire brigade. Ours isn't really integrated in the PDC. I don't think
Ours is treated as a plant PEC subcommittee, is the way we're looking at it right now. So they do have a leader, right? And we're looking at that as like because they cover the whole entire plant, right?
Yeah, ours does too. And they're formed kind of that way, but they don't get the formal training. We don't go through the formal methodology with our ERT of PEC per se.
So elimination of fire hazard would be maybe one of their focuses.
Right, I'm just wondering if they might benefit from getting the same tools that we give all the other PEC subcommittees.
Yeah, because they're usually people from different business centers that make up that ERT team.
Probably all the plants, I would guess, are the same. I mean, ours is awesome. Every plant I've been in, you'll have people that are actually firemen outside of work.
Right.
I mean, the people, they're knowledgeable and they're very good at what they do. But it might take them to the next step.
Yeah, we invest a
Give them these
lot of
tools.
money in those.
Yeah, we do.
A lot of money for training.
3 months off the floor training.
I was going to grab to, it was very strange that I saw, actually it was aha for me, for fine KPI number of 5 free days.
Or the
How many per year?
Mark, dust collector. Dust collector.
Dust collector, salary.
Final finish.
Depends on your definition of a fire.
Yeah, but I saw fire.
We had a lot of smoke events.
Okay, if you see only smoke,
All right, you guys getting restless? You need to get up?
Yes.
All right, don't get up yet.
So I will work it like establish emergency and fire committee. That's the idea?
They're established.
Oh,
They're not formalized within PEC.
PEC.
Yeah, but so they're not working as a subcommittee, as well as committee, right? That's what we want to do.
Yes.
ERT, so
Or at least
ERT
review it.
subcommittee
See how it
training or
fits.
something like that. ERT.
It needs to be implemented into the structure.
almost operate that way now. They just
It's not formally called.
together and they try to improve stuff and
And they don't get the tools to train.
put in a budget. We got new fire truck, right?
Yeah.
So how do you word it so that we remember?
Incorporate ERT into PEC structure.
Well, that was exactly what I was, that's
But it's on a plant level though.
right.
Plant level.
Right.
All right,
Now we get up?
no, I'm gonna give some instructions first. All right, so step 5, once you've got your subcommittees identified, they're in place, their job is to do things to help reduce or eliminate hazards in our workplace. What are some of the tools that they can use to do that with? DMAIC, FMEA, Briefing Vest, go actually see what's going on, go to GIMBA.
Job safety.
NIOSH, job safety analysis, good.
Behavior-based observations.
Behavior-based observations. All great tools that we have in place. Darren, the B word. All right, so how good are we at having job safety analysis in our plants? Do we have them for every job? Are they up to date? Does everyone know how to make them?
Yes.
Really?
What's the task, what's the hazard, what's the mitigation hazard? What's the task, what's the hazard, what's the mitigation?
It is that simple. Do most people know how to use them though? Probably not. So we may have some, they're probably a little out of date. PEC teams are probably trying to pull them together, figure out how they need to be revised, make some that we don't have. Are we all comfortable making JSAs?
Or are we updating JSAs at the end of each investigation of incident?
That's another level of that. So Tanner asked, are we updating JSAs after every incident? If we need to make changes?
We don't look at them until there's an incident. So I feel like it's feature.
That's lagging.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to look at JSAs. All right, so Darren did a very eloquent job at explaining how you make them. So the first is you pick a job, you go through and determine what the sequential steps are, each task that's a part of that job. From there, we want to understand what are the hazards. It may be more than one for each specific task. Again, this is drilling down to figure out where those hazards are. It's not just in tire building. What part of tire building are they doing that's causing the most hazard? List the hazards there for each one, and then what controls are we going to put in place to mitigate that hazard? So do we have job specs in place? Do we have to do some PPE passing out? Do we have to make some machine changes? How do we prevent it from happening? Simple, right? No, it's not. These can take a very long time if you do a really good job at them.
What's key to that is having a sequence standard work that is broken down to the smallest element. Then you can, and that makes it even more tedious to write the mitigation of the hazard, but it helps you identify the hazard in every little step. And you said it, don't just build a tire. What I do first, second, third, fourth, doesn't matter what task.
And what happens when we don't have standard work in place? You have to go out there and observe. Maybe have someone that does the job come in and tell you what the steps are for that. You want to make sure you get it right. All right, we're going to have some stand-up time where we're going to do an activity. We're going to break into 3 groups. Okay, so again, we're going to count off by 3s.
1,
Uno.
2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1,
2, 3.
1,
2.